is going to be the third time we're going to start this meeting, and we're going to get it started this time, guys. So just hang on to your hats. This is going to really take off here, I promise. All right. So for the week, hopefully Scott gets that email. I sent him in text, and apparently that link's not working in text. And so I sent it to him in email. All right. So moving forward. Number 6, Spencer Cushion, 1 application, $609, direct to myself. Elizabeth Delaney, 3 applications, $2,208, direct to Stella. Great job, Elizabeth. Donna Bates, 6 applications, $3,181, direct to Spencer. Ida Rea, 3 applications, $5,294, direct to Stella. We had Stella herself leading from the front, 10 applications, app count lead. Great job, Stella. Actually, app count lead for the entire hierarchy. So hats off to Stella there. 10 applications, $7,215. Number 1 for the week and number 1 in the entire hierarchy so far, Miss Stacy Love. With 8 applications, $9,826. And I hear that is actually going up because I think there's probably at least another application coming through. And probably, word has it, that's going to surpass $10,000. So great week. Stacy getting out there and crushing it. That is awesome. So, top 10, let's do the entire hierarchy, top 10 so far for the month. And we are just in our 2nd week, so plenty of time to really fill out this week strong. Make sure, again, and kind of a quick reminder, I always like to point out, plan around the holidays, guys. You know, take time to be with family and friends, but also be very intentional about your business. You're all business owners, and so you want to make sure that you are you're on top of that. So, okay. Top 10, John Paul Vetter, 7 applications, $3,282. Spencer Cushion so far for the month, 5 applications, $4,294. Sophia Williams, 6 applications, $5,079. Heidi Rea, 3 applications, $5,294. Daryl Morgan, 3 applications, $5,390. Jenny Gray, 7 applications, $7,998. Myself, 3 applications, $10,748. Ms. Donna Bates, 12 applications, $14,418. Stella Dinwiddie, number 2 for the month so far with 14 applications and leading on the month on app count by 1 application so far with $15,632. And Stacy Love leads us from the front, 13 applications, $18,336. Great month so far, Stacy. And again, that number is going to go up because I do know little birdie tells me that there is some more business coming down that pipeline. So great job. And the nice thing about it, guys, we are only 2 weeks in on the month of November. Plenty of time. Do not get caught in the trap of saying, well, nobody wants to meet me on the week of Thanksgiving. I guarantee you people will meet you probably more on the week of Thanksgiving because they've got the time. A lot of people got time off, so take advantage of that. They're off, they're relaxed, they're ready for family, they're having a good time, they're in a good mood, they're in the shopping mood because it's Christmas. And hey, that's that we always see numbers between Thanksgiving and Christmas go up, and for a number of different reasons. So take advantage. Fourth quarter is insurance season in this industry, insurance buying season. So take advantage of that. A couple announcements. Reminder, hey, we've got a competition, guys. Anybody who writes 30 grand in the month of November gets a $500 Amazon gift card to use for whatever you want to use it for, Christmas, business, whatever. And just a 70% issue paid is all we're requesting, which is very, very doable. In fact, everybody should be at least at that, if not beyond. In the month of October, and I got to circle back on this because we had a little contest, and shame on me for not promoting it better than what I did. But if you hit a high water mark in October for business written in your history here, let me know. We had a little contest going for some swag, and we're going to run another contest because I'm getting ready to put an order in for some stuff. So I want to be able to hand out some stuff to you guys. So you have an opportunity to land that. So we'll put together a couple more contests here between now and Christmas for you guys to win some stuff for your Christmas holidays. Get you a sweater or something. Who knows? All right, guys. A quick. So Scott just texted me. He's having internet issues. That's okay. We'll roll with it until he gets that sorted out. One other announcement, and what did I do with it? Stella, while I get my life in order here, do you have anything you want to share with your team?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you so much. Just first of all, just so grateful to be here. Honestly, thankful, grateful. Like, and you couldn't be more right at this being the best season right now. I can't, just a reminder when everybody was out there trying to reach people over the summer and people were like, oh, I'm on vacation, or I'm camping, or I'm this, I'm that. Everybody's hunkering down and everybody's recapping with their family, all the stories of what happened. And, just some really highly impactful conversations, that we've heard. I saw what you posted, Stacy, on Crew, about somebody's, significant other, just passing. And, that's unfortunately, no one escapes death. It's going to happen. It's it's a constant daily thing somewhere in some family. And we just never know when the right time is that somebody's light bulb in their head goes off and says, gosh, you know what? Something just happened to somebody else in my family, and I just don't want that to happen to us. So now we're listening. And you just never know when that time is. And the other thing I want to mention is I feel so honored and grateful. Brandon always joining the smiling and dialing Zoom rooms. Thank you, Brandon and Stacy and Terry and those of you that are not on here. Heidi's traveling in California, but we've been on it every day. And I'm going to open it up again this morning until my first appointment at, I don't have an appointment until 3:30. And so I've been doing this thing called Going Fishing. And I want to encourage you guys, and this will be my last thing, Chris, in case you're ready, waiting for me to shut up. But Brandon yesterday heard me go through 4 different appointments on the Zoom room, like from beginning to end of like, hey, going through the client qualification sheet into, well, I've got a few extra minutes, and I can hear the husband and wife talking. And you guys, it's just a conversation. There's, he'll be the first to tell you, I'm very relaxed. And I've learned to do that over time, and it's really helped me because, being relaxed is going to help you with your phone calls. And the reason I tell you that he heard me go through 4 of them yesterday is because I know I'll help 2 of them. I'm really confident, but they were all think about it. And I'm bringing this up because you heard Chris mention my numbers. I had about 10 applications. I know I have another one that's in the queue. I'm working with the carrier, and I pipe Go Line to push it through. It's been sitting there. I can't get to the next, how to redo it. Guy has to re-sign. So that's another app. And I'll be signing some more people today. And there's a lot of people that told me to get back to them. And sometimes people come in here and they're like, oh, I made an appointment. And that is amazing. That is so amazing. Celebrate it. But don't let it just stick at I made 1 or 2 or 3, because I didn't write those 10 applications and that, over $7,000 APV just by having 1 or 5 appointments. Like, there's people that don't show up. We have weeks people don't show up. Think about it. And you think for sure, man, I'm going to write somebody, and it just happens. But it's the next people that you talk to that are going to sign up, or you increase your follow-up. Terry has the best follow-up. She'll have weeks and they'll all come pouring in. And that's like, she'll tell you that's when she had over a $10,000 APV week. So, just keep at it, just be consistent. And I'm just really here to encourage you with that, and the Zoom rooms, please join us after this call. because we'll be dialing from after this call until about 1 or 2 o'clock.
Awesome. And I want to stop and just say thank you, Stella, for for doing that. There's a lot of folks that jump on and take advantage of that call, and number one, kudos for you to step out and do that. Big thank you to Stella for being willing to do that. A lot of people are jumping on that are not part of her team, but this is a system where we all help each other, and it doesn't matter who, if you're cross line, sideline, downline, upline, like we're all rowing the boat the same direction. And not only do we have the ethic that the company put together that allows for this team mentality across groups, but if you think about it in the macro sense and broader terms, Stella doing that, yeah, it's not going to pay her back today in actual dollars, but it's going to pay her back as she hits equity partner. Because when you get to the top of the company, you hit equity partner. Guys, your profit sharing, we don't talk enough about this, your profit sharing in the entire revenue of the entire Symmetry system, not just your agency, your hierarchy, your family tree, the entire company. The company did over $200 million last year. So that's when you see on the bonus list a Marshall Whalen bonus, mind you, equity bonus, not including anything else, just his bonus of somewhere in the neighborhood of $140,000 in 1 month. Yeah, that's so for those of you new, say, hey, that's great. He got that this year. No, that was last month. And then next month you'll get another 100 plus, and then the next month, and it grows because we're growing as a company. So Stella, a big thank you to you for doing that, for being so willing to open up, and again, with that investment mindset, investing in other people, just by opening up that Zoom room, all sharing together in that effort, but that will come back to pay you huge dividends in the future. So just a big hats off to you for that. Couple announcements just to wrap up, and it looks like Scott's been able to join us, so we'll bring him on here in a second. Guys, corporate is doing the what do we call it? Let me make sure I get the right name again, because I just pulled it. Magic of a Wish, the 2021 Quality Impact event. That's the event that we're doing for Make-A-Wish, the fundraiser that we do every year about this time. Guys, just one thing I want to bring up. You do need to sign up for that, and I forgot about that. I've got the email. If anybody needs that, just reach out to me and I'll forward that to you. You all should have got it from corporate, but you do need to sign up for that. And I totally forgot about that. I thought it was just something we jumped on, and then I pulled up the email and realized, oh yeah, I've got to go ahead and fill out and sign up for it. But guys, that's really a neat event. And again, it just kind of speaks to the ethic of the company and what we do, that we take time to raise money for, kids that really need help. Last thing, shout out to Stella and Greg, who were beneficiaries of the QRS program. Got an email. QRS is the client quality. Oh gosh, now I always screw up Scott may have to come in and bail me out, or Stella or somebody. Quality referral services, I think. But anyway, it's the guys, it's our in-house marketing team that comes back and does does follow up with our clients. And I know Greg's a part of that from time to time and is helping out. So the reason I wanted to highlight that is, as you are writing business and as you are creating clientele, big picture, guys, yeah, you're taking care of today's needs, you're building a business for yourself, but the company set this up to where they're going to be going back to your clients, and they're not going around you, they're going with you back to your clients to help quality retirement services. Thank you. I'm thinking of the QMS. So thank you, Stella. But they are working with our clients, and guys, I've been around here a little over 5 years, Scott over 6 years, and it's kind of amazing. We're getting emails every month. Oh, by the way, the corporate wrote some business for you and we're going to pay you. I wasn't involved in the conversation. I didn't make any calls. I didn't set any appointments. I didn't write any applications. I didn't chase it through underwriting. Guys, I hope you understand just the big picture of what this can do for you if you're willing to just dig in, figure it out. There's a learning curve, and I know some of you are kind of stuck in the middle of that curve, and it may be you feel like you've been, beating your head against the wall. But if you keep doing it and keep coming back and applying yourself and trying to learn more and trying to get better, guys, this is the greatest opportunity, in my opinion, in this country right now, probably in the world, for what we have going on here. So take advantage of that. I see we have Mr. Mank joining us, and Scott, just so you feel okay here, I know you had trouble getting on, but this is we started the call 3 times because on my end I was having technical difficulty, and then a couple other things going on. So this we've spent probably 20 minutes just trying to get on track, but we're rolling with a full head of steam now. So I'm glad to see you joining us. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great, Chris. Yeah, I tell you what, I panicked because about, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes before this, our lights blinked, and we have this down here once in a while. But the problem is, it takes forever for my computer to come up. And then when I did that, there was no internet. So I was in a panic right. But yeah, I'm on. So no, other than that, I'm doing great, Chris.
That's awesome. And look, it's what we do. We roll with the punches and we figure out how to make it happen. So, Scott, you and I were having a conversation here. We've had a conversation actually for probably the last several months. One of the things about this business, there's a lot of moving pieces. Just on the production side, let alone the team building and business building side of it, but just on the production side, there's a lot of moving pieces. And when we're watching the numbers every month, so we do the leaderboards like we did here this morning, so we can see the weekly and we can see the month to date. But submit numbers are a lot of fun to talk about, but at the end of the day, that's not actually where we make our money. We make our money on the back end on what gets approved and what gets paid out. And one of the things that I've observed, and this is across the board, so we're not pointing at any one person, but we've been very up and down. So we'll have a month where we have excellent issue paid, and then the following month, I mean, it drops back, and then we'll kind of seesaw back and forth. And the reason why I want to have Scott on this morning is, Scott, obviously my mentor, has is further down the road than me and has more agencies in his system, and so he's had to go through the cycle and deal with it with other agencies, and in fact even just recently has had a lot of conversations. And we were talking the other day, and he had some things to share that I felt were really pertinent, really beneficial, regardless of where you're at in this business. If you're just getting started, if you've been here for a while, again, getting that business that we submit through the system and getting it paid out. Guys, I've seen too many good agents who have come in and have really worked well with the clients and got a lot of business written, but then for whatever reason, struggled getting it paid out, getting it issue paid. And it sounds simple, but there's some key things that if we focus on, and Scott's really done a great job with some really high-level performers in his system who we see on the leaderboards a lot, but on the back end, again, that's where it really tells the tale. They were struggling. They would put up big high numbers on submit, but when the issue paid report comes through, man, there was some fall off. So Scott, kind of talk to us a little bit about some of the coaching and some of the things that you've been able to do with your with your group to kind of help turn that turn the tide, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. And once again, Chris, thanks for having me on. You got a great group. Your whole hierarchy is just, they're an awesome group. And, one of the things that I love to do is just, watch the numbers see how everybody's going, you know, because it's all about our mentorship, right? It's not being managers. We want to mentor and help you become successful here. Have, you know, some folks feel like they're not getting enough appointments, they're not writing enough business, and a lot of times they don't make it with the company, right? Then there's the other side of it, Chris. The other side is we got people writing 30, 40,000, and then all of a sudden people are like, well, what happened? You know, what's going on? Why, you know, they're writing so much business, right? But it comes down to that one side of it. I call it the dark side, Chris, and that's issue paid, right? Getting it issued, getting paid, right? And that's so it's done a lot of years, really talked to some of our really people that have been writing a certain amount of business. And I've been watching their issue paid. One of the things that's important to know is me being in a business, we always talked about issued business. When we do the leaderboards, it wasn't about APV, it was about issue, right? That's half the time, probably more than half the time, Chris, I didn't even know what the annual volume was, right? It was all about the issue paid. I knew the percentage between the two, but other than that, that was it. So it was really, really important. And so I've had a great conversation with Brandon, one of our founders, and we talked about it. And I said, you know, it's all about issue paid. It doesn't matter, you know. And he goes, yeah, I agree. You're seeing more of now Symmetry going towards issue paid. Don't be surprised if down the road it's going to be all issue paid. Bonuses, everything's going to be going by issue paid. So it's that important. Your bonuses, folks, big time, they look at that, right? They look at PPL, they look at different things. If you don't know what those things are, talk to your mentor about that. They'll help you with it. But it's so important to hit these certain areas. So what I've done, Chris, is I've had some great conversations with some folks. And once again, I'm not gonna say names, but they don't care because they're happy now. But some of these folks were writing over 30,000, issue paying anywhere between 28 and maybe 40%. Think about that for a minute, 28 to 40%. Right. And so it was bothering them. Right. And then finally, I've had a couple of them come to me. I had a few other ones I went to, but we've had probably about 7 or 8 people this year that I've had great conversations with. And we've really seen a great turnaround on that. And a couple of things is, and I'm going to use one person because this person has really taken off really quick from this, just understanding what was going on and moving forward. And they all have, don't get me wrong. But this one's fresh in my mind. We've talked a lot, and just having that little conversation once a week. So one of the first things that I tell everybody, and Chris, you'll do this, other mentors here, be brutally honest when you have this conversation about this issue paid. I truly mean that. And that was something that I had said to this person. I said, you know, just be brutally honest because I'm going to be asking some things. And trust me, it's things I'm going to ask you that I've done. So don't feel like you're the only person. Folks that are on this call right now, you may be doing it, but you're not the only person. I've been through it, right? Chris, I'm sure, has been through it. And so these are things that I know that can cause you from having that really good issue. So one of the first things I bring up is the application, right? Is the application. That's so simple, folks. I did it. Like I said, if we're going to be brutally honest, I got to be brutally honest on the applications. Young agent, getting through it. And what I would do is you've got all these diseases, right? You got all these questions asked. And a lot of times we'll kind of skim through it. We'll skim through it. Give an example. You'll say, okay, do you have any heart issues, kidney, liver, blah, blah, blah? No. No. Okay. Yeah, they do. Right? We go through every specific one. Bore them to death, folks. If you just read through them, because they're going to tell you no unless they specifically know which one it is. I've had people do this. They admitted to me, Scott, I'll go heart, liver, this, but they had high blood pressure. So they said no, right? That is so important right there. You've got to be able to go through this application, find out that information, right? Just do that. It makes your life easier, not just on the issue page, but just getting it through, period, right? And that's what's so important. The next thing is, obviously, and it's very simple, Chris, very simple. What I used to, when I would do my underwriting, right? And I would check into it. I always, and once again, I always bring up Miracle Morning. That was an awesome book to read. That's a book that really helps you be structured. But one of the things that I've learned from that is you've got your off time and you got your prime time. Your off time is where you do check your business. That's what you got to do, folks. It's your business, right? I call it the dark side. No one likes that side of it. Everyone likes the idea of making that sale, throw it in there, and sit back and wait, right? That's what happens. We sit back thinking it's just going to go on through. And a lot of times you'll have a couple things happen. And this is a big one, is all of a sudden I hear from people saying, Scott, I sent that application in 9 days ago, and I haven't heard nothing. It got hung up. A lot of times it'll get hung up through opt and didn't get through. So it's as simple as go back in there, resend, it goes in. That, folks, that should never happen. We should know what's going on with our business on a daily basis. So let me give an example. When I got up in the morning, if Mutual of Omaha opened at 9 o'clock Central, I was on the phone at 9:01. Mutual of Omaha, these are nice little tidbits to know. Mutual of Omaha, if you start getting later in the day, later in the morning, later, early afternoon, whatever, you'll be on that phone for minimum 45 minutes or better. There's no doubt about it. You're going to hang on forever. What you want to do is call them immediately in the morning. You should have, if you wrote 2 Mutual of Omahas and an American Amicable, those Mutual of Omahas are the first ones you're going to get to. And the reason being is if you call them at 9:01, 9:02, something like that, you'll get somebody. You'll get them, right? So that's one really big important thing that you need to do when you're doing the underwriting. You'll get to know this stuff as you get doing this more and more. And what's, like I said, is you got to make sure you know what's going on in your business. So the first thing what I would do is I would call Mutual of Omaha. If I wrote something the day before, I call them the next morning. And I would say, hello, my name's Scott Mank. And a lot of times I would say, could you get me to an underwriter? And most of the time they will, because I know these are the upfront people. But I'll talk to them and I'll say, hey, listen, I said, I sent in an application. I just want to double check to see if it's gone through. And they'll look it up and say, yep, we got it. Oh, that's great. I just want to make sure you have it. Now that you have it up, is there any way you can send it out to the underwriter? Is that going to go out real soon? Yeah, matter of fact, I can get it sent out now. Folks, that just put you to the top of the hill. They're going to get it out for you and it's sent. Okay. And once again, to make sure you watch it, but typically if you do that, you'll see it get issued either that day or the next morning. That's one of the things you want to do. So that is so important and it works really, really well. It really does. Once again, it's not a time consuming thing because look, if we're all honest with ourselves, we're probably writing maybe 3-4 applications, right? Maybe in a week, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, but it doesn't take long to have a conversation. If I've got 2 Mutual of Omahas, I'll say, hey, here's one here. Oh, by the way, I've got another one I'd like to check on and just go on through that process, right? Get off that one, go right to American Amicable or whoever you got, right? Give them a call, ask them the same thing. And that's so important. The next thing I like to do is what's really, really important, Chris, is obviously we will do, virtual mentor. We find a company that, we want to check on and make sure that that's the right company. But we also know that there's a gray area, right? There's always maybe medication, maybe there's something that might be a little off. Don't really feel comfortable with everything. Call them, do a risk assessment, contact these folks and just say, hey, listen, here's what I've got, and go through the process. They're going to say, you know what, Chris, what you're telling me right now, and as long as the MIB and their driving record clears, I don't see a reason why this can't get through. Well, fantastic. Well, let me ask you something. What is your name? And they'll say, well, it's Cindy Jones. Okay, Cindy Jones, if you don't mind, I'd like to put your name on in comments saying per our conversation that you feel like this could be a good candidate as long as you get through the MIB and the driving record, right? Yeah, write it in the comments, folks. You can do it on your e-app or you can do it on a paper app. Write that in. And the reason why you want to do this is when you send it in, they automatically look at comments and they're going to see Cindy Jones. It goes right to Cindy Jones at underwriter. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have some that you might call somebody and they might say, yeah, I don't see a reason why they can't get through. Okay, great. And you just send it through. Tom Jones gets the app. He might look at it different way, right? It does. They're all underwriters are different, right? They're all different. Some are sticklers on things. And that's how, but it's much nicer and easier if that person you're talking to and they're telling you, yeah, I can get this through, well, fantastic. And so, you know, and that's what'll help for you right now. Once again, once you get that through, it'll go to them, typically get it taken care of. Another thing that I like too is when I call in, you know, just to check to see if the application's there. Remember something, when you call them and they bring it up, and once in a while you get an underwriter, once in a while you get just some, you know, one of the workers there. But if you say to them, just say this, hey, now that you have it up and it looks like it looks good, everything looks good, yeah. Is there any way we can get this thing underwritten? Well, yeah, it looks like I've got it up right now. I can take care of it. That's right away when you know you got an underwriter, right? And so that's something that it happens all the time. It takes me from the bottom of the pile to the top of the pile, Chris. It gets me right there. And they'll go, yeah, there's no reason why you can't get this done. And it'll take, folks, this is just simple ways to get your business through. And trust me, people would ask me, Scott, you know, how come you get issue paid that day or the next day? It's because I was being proactive on it. And another thing that's really important about this is these underwriters get to know who you are. Trust me, you're not bothering them. If you're doing this, if you're doing the risk assessments, if you're checking on your business, especially if you got the underwriter, Cindy Jones or whatever, you can call in and ask for her and say, hey, I was just curious if you got the, you know, information. I wanted to make sure maybe things can get through. She goes, yeah, it looks good. They'll send it through, folks. And if they know you're doing that, and after a while, if Chris Menefee keeps calling in like that, they know who Chris is. They see Chris as wanting to have good business go through. Chris Menefee has been sending good business through, and it will fly through the system. It will, trust me, folks, it will. But it's just as simple as that, is to do that. And so by talking to several of these agents I've talked to, let me give an example. One of them I was just talking about. This, unfortunately, this person was doing 28% to 33% issue paid. Write a ton of business. Wrote 36,000, had 28% issue paid. Okay. She is now doing it this month. She's already written 20,000. Out of that, I know when she wrote the 18,000, almost 14,000 of it was already issued. She literally made over double, well over double the money in 1 week than she did the entire month that she wrote 36,000. And she's just, I mean, she's just absolutely excited about this. And it was just doing these things. And she does it on a daily basis now, is what she does. She says, Scott, it's simple. I said, how much time did it take you? She says, Scott, it takes me maybe 5-10 minutes. And she was, and you're right. These folks they're great. You know, she was, every time she's put their name on that comment, she'll put that underwriter on that comment. And she says, Scott, it gets issued the next day. It's gotten, everything she's gotten so far is issued next day. So that's how you can really get an idea of how your issue paid is, folks. Right now, she's running at about an 80-something% rate. Right now, Chris, is what she's running, is what she told me. And so when I was doing this, my issue was just a couple tenths under 85%. 85%. And so once again, if you're, you know, you may be asking a question, well, Scott, you know what? You know, I write a lot of, you know, medicals, things like that. You shouldn't be doing that. I mean, seriously, when I was writing business, and I learned, trust me, in my beginnings, I wrote it, always thought it was about price. It's not, and that's another thing to talk about on another day. But the thing is, if you're writing more than 10%, 15%, stretching it of medical, it's going to put you in a bad position. It really will. Because in most cases, what happens is either it's not going to get through, they're going to rate it up. Either way, the client's not happy. And on top of it, took 6 to 8 weeks maybe to find out what they were going to do, right? And so that's what's so important, folks. Try to stay away from that. And once again, you know, Chris, you brought it up. It does look pretty, right? It looks pretty with that APV being high, and I get that. But when all the numbers come through and the bottom line and that snapshot comes through, and you're running at a 28, 30-some% issue paid, and you're wondering why you can't make any money, and you seem like you've been working really hard, it's just, that's what it is. And what you need to do is just take that extra 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure your business goes through. I got to a point, Chris, where that was my daily thing, right? Even if I didn't write it the day before, I would call in just to check on anything that maybe just hasn't gone through yet. But I was on that every day, every day. And those underwriters got to know me. Mutual of Omaha, a lot of you know me, I worked there before. I got to be really, I should say, had very, very good relationships with these underwriters. And they would tell me things. They would tell me, and I'd ask questions. And I'd say, hey, listen, guys, if I wrote bad business, how would you guys react? I'm just curious, what would you do? They told me that they would put it to the side. If it was a mess, they put it to the side and work on it later. And I also asked them when I got to visit them one time, I asked them, I said, hey, do you guys know who the bad writers are and the good writers? And what about it? They go, oh yeah, we know the bad writers. Oh, we know them. And I said, well, how do you work with them? They said, we just put it to the side. I'm just telling you, that was years ago. I mean, years ago when they told me that. I don't know if it's changed or not. But once again, think through your head. Think about them for a minute. If they see something come in and they see it's Chris Menifee, he's been calling in, he's been doing the risk assessments, and they see that, they'll go, yeah, that's good. It's good, right? They'll give you sometimes the benefit of the doubt. I know that. So folks, this is how you're going to get your numbers up. Think about this for a minute. I was talking to her about this, and I said, you can now, not to write half, but that's not her way, trust me. But I said, you can write half this business and make more money. And she was, you're right, but I'm not. She was, I'm writing 36,000 and I'm going to just get it back up to 75. Her goal is 85%. Her goal is 85%. And so that's what she's shooting for. But it's just those little things, folks, just those little things. Have that conversation. Have that conversation with the home office, Mutual of Omaha, whoever it is, and just have those conversations. It'll make you feel good. It makes you feel good that you're taking on your business. You're trying to do the right things for your business, and that's what's so important. And so that's basically it right there, Chris.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that you touched on that I think are very key to us specifically. One in particular, and that's the consistency. Because I think everybody here, like I said, we'll have a month where we just knock it out of the park on issue paid, and then the following month it drops down. And what my observation, just for everybody's sake, just to kind of think through this and how you manage your business, there's a couple of things that I see. One, on the consistency is, to your point, Scott, is make sure that you're doing this underwriting follow-up on a very regular basis, whether it's every day, every other day. Just be very consistent with that, kind of set that as part of your daily business duties. That, and I love that because, like I said, the more you're in the ear of the underwriter of those companies, the more you're going to get cases through that, well, let's face it, maybe a little bit borderline. They know you're pretty good about, covering your bases and making sure that you're staying on top of your business. And that's important because we're coming in a time of the year, guys. This is, we talked about, fourth quarter is kind of insurance season. Keep in mind too, this is the end of the year for a lot of insurance companies. And they, we see this every year in December, they push a lot of cases through because they're trying to get as much off the books as they can to start the new year. And so we've seen, circumstances where, a case that might have gone against this, they've gone ahead and put through. Now, my preference would be to underwrite that very carefully up front and make sure that you're not putting a questionable case in that could get shot down. And that's, some of your field underwriting techniques. But yeah, just that consistency of following up. The other thing that I see, because, we talk a lot about this, again, our month to month when we write business, if you write something in the last week of the month, it may or may not go on that month for issue paid. And that's okay. That's just a function of the business. I think the problem that I see a lot of times, and this is, Scott, you can attest to this, this has been our history, is we're really a second half team. I mean, meaning, we cram the business in the second half of the month, but the problem is we get a slow start to the beginning of the month. We're not good about pacing ourselves and doing good, solid activity from day 1 through day 30. And that's problematic because, again, if you write a ton of your business in the 4th week of the month, kind of that hair on fire, I'm going to get all my business crammed in on the last week of the month, that's great. I'm glad that you're putting in that activity. The problem is you're always going to struggle with issue paid because, you know, 1 month is just going to be lights out issue paid, and this is what we're seeing. You know, we'll tag 90% on issue paid, and then we'll drop down to 60. Well, if you just look at the numbers, this is a seesaw, and a lot of it comes down to how we run our day to day. This is why I love what you talked about, Scott, with consistency. Consistency not only on following up with the underwriting, but consistency on the production, guys. I mean, you know, I think sometimes when we get in and we cram hard for the end of the month, kind of setting for that final exam mentality, you know, we're going to get in the fourth quarter and we're just going to crush it, you know, that fourth week of the month. But then we wear ourselves out in that first week of the next month. We're like, ah, gosh, I got to sit back and get my breath. And, you know, and whereas if we were consistent week in, week out and just doing steady activity, our lives would be much less stressed because we kind of go through the seesaw of where we start out slow and then we got to run hard to catch it up at the end of the month. That also comes back and bites us on the issue paid side of the ledger, where you're cramming a bunch of business in at the end of the month. Some of it, if you're writing instant decision cases, which we strongly encourage, you know, you're going to be much better off in general. That's going to go ahead and hit in that same month, and that's good. But some of it just by you know, nature of the business has got to roll over to the following month. So I think that level of consistent activity is huge, both on the underwriting side, but on the production side. You know, make your business and your life a lot easier and a lot less stressful.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Chris. I'll tell you what, one of the things that I've seen, you know, even before I was at Cemetery, but even here, right? I'll look at underwriting and someone will say, Scott, I don't understand it. I don't understand why it's taking so long. It's been in there for 12 days. I can't figure out why they're not getting it through, blah, blah, blah. Now I'll say, well, did you call them? Well, no, I didn't. Well, okay, you need to call them. Or, yeah, I did. And I don't know what's going on. And then I've got the screen up and it shows me right there that a form hasn't been sent in, right? It could have been done 9 or 10 days ago, but trust me, these insurance, I think only one will do it. But most all these companies are not going to text you, email, or call you if you're missing anything. They're figuring you're going in there and looking into it. Now, what we're doing right now, Chris, is we got Quility now, right? Now it's getting, you know, there's a little bit, you know, they're fixing it to get a little bit better. It's going to be awesome. But you can go right in Quility. You'll show your clients and you can click on and find out what's going on with them. You know, so I've had that where, you know, people are upset and scream, but it's a form. Or maybe there's something that they need, but they'll let you know just looking on their website. Now with it just being in Quility, that's an awesome way of doing it. But once again, folks, I challenge all of you. I truly mean this. I challenge you to have that conversation with these folks. You'll be amazed. In most cases, Chris, I won't even have to ask them their name. A lot of times they'll say, hey, Scott, by the way, this is Cindy Jones. If you would just put in comments that I said that this will go through, barring no issue with MIB or you know, driving record. Guys, that's golden. I mean, someone says that to me, it's usually done that day. It takes a second for them to look at that MIB and the driving record. I've written stuff in that morning, or they've told me that, and that afternoon it's already issued. Amazing. I'll tell you another one who's fantastic is American Ample. Chris, I've done that, and I've had stuff get issued like in 15 minutes. I kid you not. I kid you not. I'd see it pop up. American Ample, they will pop up an email once in a while saying issued. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I just talked to him 15 minutes ago. I mean, talk about instant. That was our instant back then, Chris. I mean, that's why I wrote business with American Ample, Mutual Omaha too, but American Ample, because I would call them up and they just get it done. So what I'm saying is I challenge you to try it, folks. You'll be shocked. Because understand something, these people want this business. Now, obviously, you got to have, they want good business. I mean, obviously, but they want the business. And Chris, you hit on something that I bring up all the time. This is the time of year. If they know that I've seen it, folks, with some of our great writers here with good issue pay, they have some of their greatest issue paid at this time. All the time. I mean, it's high. I'll start seeing it happening because these companies have to get out a certain percentage of this business. They got to clear it out at end of year. I remember Chris, when I worked in Mutual Omaha, I would have business that we wrote in December, middle of December, you know, around then, that went through, it was issued, and it was supposed to be a medical. I kid you not. And that was not, it would happen. Once again, how does that happen? They know you're writing good business. They're taking the benefit of the doubt that you've really checked into this. Maybe it's, but they, maybe it could be, they should be doing a medical, but man, by what you put in there, you went through your application correctly, the MIB, look, they're taking that benefit of the doubt, saying, hey, listen, I think we're good. And I'm telling you, folks, that's how it is. Make these underwriters your best friend. They are working for you. They're not working against you. I know I get this with new people. I cannot believe this underwriter wouldn't take this or that, or the company won't take. Folks, don't do that. Listen, I had times with underwriters, you get some, some are going to be cranky. Like I said, we're human, but just go with them, go along with them. If like, Scott, we just can't do this one. Okay, well, hey, what, I'll tell you what, I'll just make sure I do better. Sorry, I missed out on this one, but I'll do better. You draw more flies with honey than you do vinegar, folks. You just do. And you don't want to make them an enemy. They are your, I'm telling you, they're the ones that want to get your business through. So when you have these conversations, you have a great conversation. I always tell them I appreciate them. I appreciate what they do. I understand what they do. You guys go through a lot of applications. I appreciate you taking the time talking with me. Folks, that's how I have that conversation with them. Every time I end it is, I appreciate you. I know you guys are super busy. Thanks for taking time with me. Oh no, Scott, that's what we do. We appreciate you. You guys are doing a great job. That's the kind of relationship you want with these underwriters. Trust me. Please don't go after them, because I'm telling you right now, if they do get upset with you, they will come to me. They'll let me know, or they'll let Cemetery know, right? So you just want to build that bridge, build that relationship with them. And if you do, you're going to see a lot of things happen with your business. And even if you're doing good business, right? Even if you are, folks, if you're happy with where you're doing as far as your issue, still have those conversations with them. Still check your business. A lot of times they'll say, oh, you're so-and-so. Hey, you write a lot of good business, right? I mean, they'll love to get to know who you are. So really, it's a simple thing, like we do, right? We have the business here is very simple, right? And that's just those little simple things that you do that's going to get your business through. And the consistency, Chris, that you're talking about, you're consistently going to be you're going to be getting paid on a consistent basis. You truly will. So, and if you're one of those that gets it in, think about this for a minute. If you're getting it in that third week, or maybe early in the fourth week, man, I'd be on the phone. I'd be on the phone asking. Don't wait till the last day and go to your mentor and say, hey, how come that didn't get through? I don't know. Did you check? Right? Did you look at your business? Because that's the first thing I'm going to say, folks. If you're asking me, Scott, did you talk with an underwriter? No. Why not? Well, I don't know. Okay. You're not taking control of your business. You got to take control of your business. It doesn't end when that application is done. Because if you're not taking the through this, make sure we get it through, so then they can
That may have broke finally. I mean, is he froze on my screen? Is it on anybody else's?
Yeah,
Okay.
he is on mine too. I'll just say I love what he said about following up. I had a case that wasn't getting issued, and I reached out to Mutual of Omaha coincidentally, and they're awesome. But one of the other underwriters wrote me back and said, oh, I'm so sorry. They actually sent you the wrong form for him to sign. He needs to sign this one. But if I hadn't reached out to them, it would have been sitting there, and wondering, because I was like, well, we fulfilled it. And I love what Scott said about, thanking the underwriters, thanking them. When I get an email from them, directly from them, like there's a Colleen Hennings and a Eileen Wolf, I think her name is, there's specific people, like I'll go back to them if I have a question on something, like, hey, I got this person's account number was wrong. Can you help me with this? And then I love what you said, Scott. I do the same thing. I'm like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, because they probably get backlash from a lot of people out there.
Yeah, they do, and that's true, and that's a great point. If you're the known as the nice agent, trust me, they get plenty of calls basically tell them they're the worst underwriter in the world. So it's just human nature. They're they're going to help the ones that are easiest to work with, and that's important. Now, I will say this, and look, in this business, there are times where we don't have a lot of options. We got to write who we can write, who we feel like the client can get approved with. And in those cases, that's what this conversation is around. Those that still have to go through the kind of the traditional underwriting process. This is where it's going to pay huge dividends for you. But this is also a huge endorsement, in my opinion, for instant decision stuff. Guys, we've got Americo, we've got John Hancock, we now have Quility Level Term SBLI, all instant decision companies. I would be starting every conversation, every quote, I would be starting there. And then go to those others. Again, you've got to write what you've got to write based on the client situation and what they can qualify for. But man, I would be cramming everything into that instant decision because you want to make your life easy on the underwriting side. Get the decision right then and there. But what it also does for you, and then the situation where somebody says, "Yeah, but I get they didn't qualify. I got the kickback on it immediately." Guys, that's perfect. While you're sitting there with a client, you just got told, "Hey, we're going to have issues on underwriting." So now instead of me trying to chase the client back down, set another appointment, try to get things fired back up, get them in the right mindset of now we were going this direction, but now we're going to go this direction. In other words, having that information real time allows you to work behind the scenes and the client doesn't even really know what's going on. You're just saying, "Hey, let me, there's something popped up here. Let me do a little bit of work and see. It looks like we may have to go with a different carrier. Not a big problem." I mean, you're able to brush it off real time instead of calling the client, "Hey, bad news, you got turned down. Nobody likes you, nobody wants you." Obviously we don't say that, but I mean, that's what the client's feeling. They've just been told they don't qualify. And whereas if we put them through in the instant decision, we know they don't qualify, but we can say, "You know what, it looks like there's going to be some things that I think another company would be better to go to." And it's easier to make that seamless transition. The last thing I'll also say too is if you do have to do a situation where you're doing an application that is going to have to go through underwriting, guys, I learned this a long time ago. When you are getting medications from the client, make sure you're Googling that stuff, because I don't know how many, it's crazy to me. I have trouble wrapping my head around it, but a medication that literally, when you Google it, says can be used for treating high blood pressure or heart failure. Guys, that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. High blood pressure, yeah, no big deal. Heart failure, holy crap. That's like, is this person going to make it through my application? Well, we know that it's probably for the high blood pressure, but guys, the underwriter doesn't. And their job is to assume worst case scenario. So I've done this, hey, taking XYZ medication specifically for high blood pressure. And I put that in the agent's notes. You will save yourself so much headache by addressing that up front before it even becomes a question in the underwriter's mind. Because even if they come back and ask you later, "Hey, we see this medication, what's that used for?" That, yes, you can still address it at that point, but now there's already that negative, kind of hanging in the back of the underwriter's mind. Is it or isn't it? Whereas if we deal with it up front, and Stella, I see your comment, that's a great, yeah, there's, I don't know how many, was it for a headache or for seizures? Guys, I mean, look, again, we are the field underwriters. We call ourselves field underwriters, and that's not just a fancy term that we use to try to make ourselves feel better or put ourselves in a better light with the client. No, we are truly field underwriters. We are the front line for what goes into that insurance company. And so in a situation where you're not doing an instant decision company, again, strongly recommend going that route first. But if you have to go with a company that's going to underwrite it, make sure that you are doing a lot of front end footwork. Don't get lazy on that. And that's why I love, Scott, what you said is you have to make sure that you're asking every one of those questions word for word. instead of just saying, get to the heart question. Okay, do you have any heart problems? How many times have we asked a client on an appointment, said, hey, do you have any major issues, heart attack, stroke, cancer? And no, I'm great. I'm great. And then, especially in the old days, Scott, you remember when we went out in the home and we, some of you were here when we did that, and you sit down and you look over and on the shelf's a basket of medication. You're like, oh, I hope that's for the dog, because if that's for you, we're in big trouble. But 9 times out of 10, it was for them, not for the dog. And then everything that we had taken all the time to put our work into, get a free plan, all these numbers that we ran, we realized might as well wad that up and throw it in the trash can because we're starting over. And so my point with that is, when you're seeing an application and you're getting those medications, and do ask for them, guys. I mean, really ask for them, because again, I don't know how many times I've asked a client specifically, do you have any heart problems? No, I'm good. What medications are you taking? Oh, I'm taking XYZ drug, and I Google it and it's like for congestive heart failure. Okay, Mr. Client, you're taking this medication. What's that for? Oh yeah, doctor says I got some heart issues. We just talked about this. Why do we not? Why, I know some of you are laughing because you've all been through this. You just want to reach across the table and shake them. It's like, what did you think when I said heart problems, what did you think that meant? But I think it's a psychological things, guys. And I'm rambling here a little bit. It's kind of funny to talk about this stuff because, how many times have we all asked that? No, I'm in great shape. When you get there and they've got oxygen hooked up and sitting in a wheelchair. It's like, well, I would really hate to see you if you were in bad shape. That would be, that would be pretty ugly. But anyway, we're getting to the top of the hour. Scott, I know you got another call you got to roll to. Anything you want to add for us here before we roll out? You're on mute right now, just FYI.
There we go. Yeah, a couple things real quick. Yeah, one of the things is you'll find with medications, folks, and when I was in the field, I run into it. So this is so important what Chris is talking about. A lot of people are taking medication for maintenance, right? I ran into a lady had no really a heart issue, but because she was 76, they're giving her this heart medicine just in case. I had another one with a kidney, right? He was taking some to be on kidney dialysis, all of that. And it's just because his kidneys were coming up with different numbers, they gave him this medication just as a maintenance. So those are things that you need to know when you ask them, why are you taking this, right? And so you want to make sure of that. And the other thing, just real quick on this, Chris, and I'll let y'all go, but I loved it when you said it about they think you're always healthy. I remember when I was in the business, I don't know, maybe it was in the business views, I don't know, but one of the guys, when I asked the question, he goes, oh, Scott, I'm in great shape as long as I'm taking my insulin. See, as long as they feel good in the moment, as long as nothing's going on, they're in great shape, right? As long as they're taking their insulin. And I'll never forget that as an agent, new age or a young agent. I'm like, wow, I got to make sure that I'm asking these things thorough, right? And that was really important because people, as long as they feel good, hey, they're healthy. So, but just think that through when you go in the field or talk to folks. They're all going to be healthy, folks, until you find out exactly what it is. And a lot of times you got to talk it through. And another thing too is, Chris, real quick on the instant, what I love about that is if they are declined, that is a great way to finally sit to them face to face and now listen, you got declined. We've got to know there's something. If you could tell me what it is, maybe, you feel embarrassed. I don't care what it is. It's me or you. What is the situation? And one thing about people getting declined, that was one thing that all of a sudden you found the truth. If they're telling you, hey, there really isn't anything, they're really hiding something, because it just 99.9% of the time that MIB is not wrong. So other than that, Chris, that's it on my end. I hope that really helps people out. It's just the simple things like that, folks, that can really think about it. If you can bump yourself up like hers, she's bumped up almost 60%, 55 to 60% in pay. I mean, that beats the heck out of worrying about going up the commission levels, right? I mean, you can do it 55% a month. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
Well, and think about it, Scott. If you write $20,000 submit and you issue pay 60%, that's $12,000, and then you're taking your 75% on that plus whatever your commission rate. I mean, that's going to pay you $5,000-6,000. Guys, you bump that just just 10%, you know, up to 70%. And, you know, now $14,000. And, you know, we always use that 50% rule of thumb. Now you're going from $5,000 to $7,000 to $8,000. I mean, that guys, that's pretty significant, you know, and a lot of times, again, we kind of, I think sometimes we focus too much on the written side and try to shortcut that process. Obviously you got to have it written to be able to get paid on it, but it's all about consistency, and it's all about that complete process. If you want to be a complete agent, you got to do the complete process, and be professional about it. You know, you know, whatever discipline, whatever business you're in, you know, if you're a house painter, you know, how many house painters are going to show up with one bucket of paint to paint an entire house, you know, and they get the front wall done, and all of a sudden they realize they got to start over and go shop more and get more materials, and you know, they waste a lot of time back and forth. And if you think about it, our same process, sitting with a client for an hour writing an application, only to have that not go through for something that we did. Now, if a client lied, that's on them, and you know, that's going to happen. And you know, nobody runs 100% issue paid, but we've got to do what we need to do on our end, and do it to the very best of our ability. So, well, guys, we went a little bit past, and again, after 3 attempts at starting this morning, I thought we'd go ahead and go about 5 minutes over. But I know Scott has got another call to jump on. But just you know, big thanks to Scott for jumping on. And guys, track your numbers. If you're seeing that up and down that we're seeing, and you want to know why or how that's happening, reach out to us. We'll dig into the numbers. That's what we do. We watch the numbers because you know, that's what we have to do at our level, because there's so many metrics for us to move forward as an agency that we have to track, that we're a lot of times we're you know, we'll be able to dig in with that with you and help you improve your business. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for everybody for jumping on, and let's go out and hey, Friday, we've still got plenty of time to crank out some business. So let's go out and let's make it happen, guys. Thank you all.